Welcome to another video in our van build series. In this video, I will cover the installation of the 12 volt wiring. In later videos, I will walk through the 240 volt wiring, battery system and the solar panels. Here I have a plan on what I wanted and how they all connected to each other. The electrical system consists of mainly three sections: my 12 volt electrical connections, the 240 volt electrical system, and the battery system, including the solar panels. For the 12 volt, it's pretty simple in that I have a whole heap of 12 volt connections that are fed back to a central fuse panel, which in turn are fed from a larger capacity cable directly from the battery. For the 240 volt, I have mains power coming into a protection circuit breaker and then to an inverter charger unit, which both charges the battery from the mains and distributes power out to my 240 volt sockets. Lastly, for the battery system, I have solar panels feeding into a DC to DC charger, which also accepts input from the van's alternator. I listed out the devices I want to install, estimated the cable length I would need, and as best as I could gauge the fuse ratings I would need. Note that the cable going to the fuse panel needed to accommodate the total capacity as if every device was running at the same time. However, it is unlikely that I would run everything at the same time. After all, I need to conserve power if I want to camp out for several days at a time whilst not connected to a mains 240 volt supply. Wiring is expensive, so as to maintain it as cost effective as possible, I eventually settled on largely using 4mm 2-core cable whilst I used 6mm for the fridge in solar. I had the battery system professionally installed, so its wiring was taken care of independently of me. My van is a medium wheelbase, so the cable runs weren't all that long. If I had a larger van, I would consider having several fuse boards throughout the van. That way, there would be a large capacity cable going to each fuse board and smaller capacity cables branching out from there. The thicker the cable, the more expensive it is, but having the additional fuse boards allows shorter runs from there rather than running everything from a central distribution panel, as I have done. However, my fuse board is located almost adjacent to the battery, limiting the amount of thicker cable required. I do, however, have a lot of cables running from the board and ended up having a thick cable run through my main cupboard, requiring a couple of conduits to house them all, and more effort to keep them tidy. Identifying the loose cables was also a challenge. As you can see here, I have internal low voltage downlights, an outside light and some lights on the back door. I have a number of USB outlets for charging various devices, as well as an external 12 volt cigarette outlet for the outside shower. I also have a small fan above the bed for those especially hot nights. I have a diesel heater, radio, water pump and 2 max air fans and a fridge. I have protection breaks for various parts of the system that also serve to isolate components. Lastly, plan your wiring layout. You might find that later on it might be impossible for you to add, for instance, another GPO in a place you hadn't thought of. Hope you enjoyed that. If you liked it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Also, please subscribe if you haven't already. You should also check out our previous videos. In the next video, I'll go through the 240 volt electrical wiring. Bye for now.